So it is the 10th of May. I've been looking over all the Grammy stuff just to see who's won, how they've won, how many times they've won. Some people have won a lot of times. I thought I would do the stupidly obvious thing and just literally type into Google, how do you win a Grammy? Because, why not? And I've come across guidelines and all about when songs have to be released, how tracks are defined, how albums are defined, and I just kind of realised I'm getting a bit too ahead of myself straight away. And I'm trying to rein it back. So looking on the Grammy website, there's a question here. Someone's asked, they're an indie artist, are they eligible for a Grammy? I'm hoping that maybe I wouldn't be independent by them, but it's nice to know if it's possible. And long story short, as I've read through it, they say one of the best things any artist, including indie artists, can do is join the Recording Academy as a voting member to participate in the awards process. And then it says, as a member in good standing, you can enter recordings into the Grammy Awards process. So there might actually be a way to physically enter a song into the Grammy Awards process if you are a Recording Academy voting member in good standing. So I don't know if that means you have to vote a certain number of times. I don't know if that means you have to know the right people. I'm not quite sure on that yet. But that is definitely something to look into. Yeah, I've been looking over all the awards and the people winning. I mean, like, Stevie Wonder has won 25 Grammys, Jay-Z 22, Beyonce 23, Kanye 21, Lady Gaga 11, Foo Fighters 11, Macca 18, and you look at the difference in the degrees of success that all these people have had, and it's all pretty much like up there. So I think quite simply the only way it's really realistically going to happen is to build a career around all this and to really kind of push forward as an artist and try and build like a fan base and build the music around everything. So yeah, that is probably the best thing to do. I'll make it sound so simple. It really isn't. So I just want to quickly go over all my social medias and just kind of see where I'm currently standing with regards to followers and like fan base and stuff like that, So I'm just getting them all up now. Okay, so I've gone over the numbers dead quick. So Facebook, I have 1,103 followers. Instagram, I've got 452. Twitter, I've got 239. And then with Spotify, I've gone over like 3 different things. So I've gone monthly listens, which is 264. Followers, which is 121. And collective streams, which is a total of all the streams of all the songs I've got on there, which is 3, which is 62.5 thousand. Now the brilliant thing about Spotify for artists, which is if you're not on Spotify, if you're a musician not on Spotify, it allows you to actually see all your stats, all your data, like all your listeners, how many people have listened on what date, how many streams you've got, how many followers you've got. So it works out really helpful. It also lets you see the gender of the listener's age as well, so you can see what kind of age the majority of your listeners are, and yeah, the top countries and stuff. So my top 5 countries are Australia at number 1 with 102 listeners, the UK at 2 with 60 listeners, Brazil at 3 with 38 listeners, and the US 4 with 18 listeners, and then Mexico 5 with 7 listeners, which is interesting. My top 10 cities that I mostly listen to, we've got Brisbane, Sydney, Perth, Melbourne, Adelaide, so the top 5 are all Australia. Then we've got Birmingham, Liverpool, Manchester, then London, then Blumenau in Brazil. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. It's clear to see that there's quite an array of people listening to my music, which is lovely, which is great, and the ages as well. So the majority of my listeners are between the ages of 23 to 27, but it's quite close between 18 and 44. It's like quite tight knit, quite high percentages. All of them are in the 20 percentile. So that's 80% of my listeners are between that age, which is great, really. So now I've got all this data. I've been looking at what other musicians have done and how they've been working like towards a Grammy or like success, and not a lot of them actually do like all the writing themselves or all the music themselves, go to studios and stuff. Obviously you've got a few exceptions in there. People like Chance the Rapper, who's not signed, and he didn't actually release any physical copies of his music when he won the Grammy, and the only reason he won the Grammy is because they changed the rules. Phineas and Billie Eilish, they actually recorded at home, which is what I do. So I've got my computer, I've got my guitars, and I've got all my gear here, and I like to do it myself. That could prove detrimental, but it also saves with money, because studio time is not cheap at the moment, and with the world going to turmoil, I'm currently unemployed, so I do not have a lot of money. So that's, at the moment, that's the way forward for me, is to record everything myself. But I might look at doing some kind of collaborative songwriting, to just try and bump it up, boost it in certain areas and get better. I want to split this up into like different areas and different targets, as opposed to being like, there's one target, that's a Grammy, bam, gotta go for that. So I'm splitting it up into like sections, and I don't know how many sections there'll be, I don't know how varied they'll be, but I know that my target for now is I want to start reaching a lot more people and getting to know people around the Liverpool area that I don't already know. So I'm going to keep writing. I'm going to work towards having about 5 singles, maybe 10 singles. I'd like 10 singles ready, with 5 of them to then release over the course of like 5 or 6 months. So with that in mind, the end goal with quarantine being a bit of a pain and we're not knowing when we can actually go out and play again and do all that, I want to say for the end of next year, so by the end of 2021, December 2021, I want to be playing like at least 100 capacity rooms and starting to like sell them out or fill them up basically almost every gig in Liverpool. So I have already done this, but I haven't played in over a year now, so all the hard work I'd done has kind of fizzled out a little bit. But obviously I'm still raring to go, I'm still wanting to play. So I'm kind of hoping that I can release like 5 or so songs, and by the end of that releasing of the 5 songs, I could bring enough people down to a gig to put on like a big party, like have a hell of a good night. At least once. I'd like to do it a few times. But we'll see. I mean, anything's possible. I've got plenty of time. So yeah, so this is the starting point, definitely. So I'm going to finish the video here. I'm going to try not to waffle too much on all of these and actually show doing stuff, but obviously with everything that's going on, it's hard to leave the house, it's hard to do anything and go out and do anything. So the next thing I think is working out a business plan. So Gareth, I actually told Gareth about all this, and he was quite supportive and found it quite funny. Thank you, Gareth. So he's told me I need to have a business plan that's quite comprehensive, and he's very right. So I'm going to go through all my stats, all the areas people are that are listening, look at venues, and just build a plan, an idea to last till the end of December, till December 2021. Not necessarily for you guys, more for me, so I can kind of get a grasp of strengths and weaknesses, how to do things. It's quite good for an artist to do that, just to kind of get themselves together. So yeah, I will leave it here. Yeah, I'll speak to you all very soon. Sorry it's been a bit of a boring one, but I find all the Grammy stuff quite interesting, and starting with the stats at day one and just seeing how everyone's managed to get there is just crazy. So yeah, wish me luck. I'll see you guys very soon. Please subscribe as well, follow all the pages, and I will see you all soon.